Hello students. So in the previous class we people have seen about the nucleosides and the nucleotides of the DNA, and also I have given some questions regarding small questions regarding the previous class, that is the introductory class, and the nucleosides and nucleotides. Now in the today's class we are moving on to see the structure of the DNA. So before going to the DNA, we have to understand that what is DNA and what is the importance of DNA and where the DNAs are present. So usually the DNA is a long polymer of deoxyribonucleotides. What is the DNA here? A long polymer. Polymer means a chain. Okay, long chain of deoxyribonucleotides, and this DNA is almost present in all the eukaryotic organisms. You people know very well that what is the eukaryotic organism. Eukaryotic organisms are those organisms which are having a definite nuclear membrane. Okay, eukaryotic organisms are those organisms which are having a definite nuclear membrane. So in those organisms we are going to see the presence of the DNA, especially the mitochondria and the chloroplast is also having the DNA molecule. So here eukaryotic organism nucleus, okay, especially the nucleus is the location for the DNA. Okay, nucleus is the location for the DNA. 90% of the DNA is present in the nucleus. Okay, 90% of the DNA is present in the nucleus, whereas the 10% of the DNA is present in the mitochondria and the chloroplast present in the cytoplasm. So usually mitochondria and chloroplast are present in the cytoplasm. So 10% of the DNA is present in the mitochondria and the chloroplast, which is present in the cytoplasm. This you people have seen in the eukaryotic organisms, whereas in the prokaryotic organisms, what is the meaning of prokaryotic organisms? Prokaryotic organisms are those organisms where we are seeing that it is not having a definite nuclear membrane. Once again I'll repeat. What are prokaryotic organisms? The organisms which are not having a definite nuclear membrane are called as prokaryotic organisms. Especially example is we can take the bacteria. So in the bacteria we are going to see the special structure called as plasmids. In the bacteria what we are going to see? We are going to see the special structure called as plasmids. Now what are these plasmids? See, plasmid is the concept which you are going to read further in the biotechnology also. Okay, so what are plasmids here? They are double stranded. Okay, they are double stranded, self-replicating, double-stranded, self-replicating, then extrachromosomal, circular DNA. Okay, extrachromosomal circular DNA. This is the definition of the plasmid. So what are plasmids here? They are the double stranded. See here, you can see it is the double stranded. Okay, you can see here circular. Okay, it is the double stranded, it is the circular, and it is having the extra chromosome. Okay, that extra chromosome means normally above the level of normal chromosome, that is the extra chromosome. And self-replicating means what? They replicate by themselves, that means they can produce their own daughter cells. Okay, they can produce their own daughter cells, that is called as what? Self-replicating, and it is a special type of DNA. Okay, it is a special type of DNA. So here in the bacteria, in the prokaryotic organisms, especially in the bacteria, we are going to see the presence of the plasmids. What we are going to see? We are going to see the presence of the plasmids here. Understood? So this is the brief introduction of the DNA we are going to see. So here points are there. So DNA is a long polymer of deoxyribonucleotide. Okay, it is present in almost all the organisms, especially in the eukaryotes. There is a presence of nucleus, and in that nucleus, 90% of the DNA is present, and in the mitochondria and chloroplast, 10% of the DNA is present, and both these are present in the cytoplasm. Whereas in the prokaryotes, especially these bacteria are considered as the prokaryotes. Okay, bacteria are considered as the prokaryotes. In the prokaryotes, we are going to see that there is a special type of DNA which is called as what? Plasmid. Okay, so what are plasmids? That is, they are double-stranded, self-replicating, extra chromosomal, circular DNA. These 5 points you have to remember, because this plasmid concept you people are going to see in detail in the chapter called as biotechnology and its applications. Okay, so here that is the brief introduction of the DNA. Now various examples, that means various examples we are going to see. Okay, like a specific organism is having a specific length of the DNA. For example, you can see here. For example, here I have written the organisms. Okay, here I have written the name of the organisms, and here we have written the definition. So here you can see name of the organism, and there we are going to see the length of the DNA. So here the 5 into 174 virus, okay, it is consisting of 5386 nucleotides. Okay, then bacteriophage lambda. Bacteriophage, you people know, that is a virus which is infecting the bacteria, that is called as what? Bacteriophage lambda. Bacteriophage lambda is consisting of 48,502 base pairs. Then E. coli or the Escherichia coli we can say. So this is also acting as a host cell in the bacteria. That means in the biotechnology topic. In the biotechnology, once again, we are going to see that the Escherichia coli or the E. coli is acting as a host cell. So E. coli is consisting of 4.6 into 10 raised to 6 base pairs, and humans, the scientific name is Homo sapien, which is consisting of 3.3 into 10 raised to 9 base pairs, and it is the haploid content. That means it is the base pairs which is present in the 23 number of chromosomes. Whereas you can double it, 23 into 2. So 3.3 into 10 raised to 9 base pair into 2, you can do that one. That is the answer for the diploid content. Understood? So these are the specific lengths of the DNA which is present in the particular organism. Once again I will repeat, 5 into 174 virus, it is consisting of 5386 nucleotides. Then bacteriophage lambda, it is consisting of 48,502 base pairs. Then Escherichia coli, it is consisting of 4.6 into 10 raised to 6 base pairs. And humans, that is Homo sapiens, you can say it is consisting of 3.3 into 10 raised to 9 base pairs. It is the answer for the haploid content. So this is the brief introduction of the DNA length and also where the DNA is present. Now we are going to see the structure of the DNA. Well students, it is the structure of a polynucleotide chain. So what is this? It is the structure of a polynucleotide chain. Structure of a polynucleotide chain. I have told you already, the DNA is a long polymer of deoxyribonucleotide. This is the one strand of the DNA it is showing. So what is it is showing? It is the one strand of the DNA. Already you people know the chemical composition of the DNA. What you people know? It is the, already you people know the chemical composition of the DNA, what we have studied in the first class. So how many chemical composition of the DNA will be there? 3 chemical components will be there. Okay, I have told you already. That is pentose sugar, phosphate group and the nitrogen base. So you can see here. Okay, it is the pentose sugar. What it is? It is the pentose sugar. Okay, and it is the phosphate group. Okay, and this one is the nitrogen base. Got? So here the pentose sugar, phosphate group and nitrogen is base is making one nucleotide. Okay, see here, remove, don't see this one. Okay, pentose sugar and this is the nitrogen base and phosphate group. It is making one nucleotide. Okay, so these nucleotides are linked. Okay, nucleotides are linked by phosphoester bonds. Okay, the nucleotides are linked by phosphoester bonds. You can see the linkage between the two nucleotides. Okay, the linkage between the two nucleotides is done by the phospho linkage bond, phosphoester bond. Okay, so the five towards the 5 carbon atom there is a linkage of the phosphate group, and towards the 3 carbon atom there is a linkage of hydroxyl group. This is the one strand of the DNA. Okay, this is the one strand of the DNA, or we can say one strand of what to say, polynucleotide chain. Okay, one strand of polynucleotide chain. So DNA can be defined as the double stranded polynucleotide chain. Okay, DNA is the structure of the DNA we see, it is the double stranded polynucleotide chain where the two opposite strands are present. So this you are seeing one strand, 5 prime end to 3 prime end is the one strand. You can see this is the pentose sugar. What is this? It is the pentose sugar. Okay, it is the pentose sugar. It is the nitrogen base. Okay, it is one of the nitrogen base, and this one is the phosphate group. Okay, so this all three structure is making one nucleotide. Okay, so if you remain the phosphate, if you just remove the phosphate group, only the pentose sugar and the nitrogen base is remaining. That is called as nucleoside. Okay, if you remove the phosphate group, only the pentose sugar and the nitrogen base is present, that is called as nucleoside. So when a phosphate group is linked to 5 hydroxyl of a nucleoside through phosphoester linkage, corresponding nucleotide is formed. Okay, corresponding nucleotide is formed, and two nucleotides are linked through phosphodiester linkage. I have told you these are the two nucleotides. Okay, only two nucleotides we'll see here. These are the two nucleotides, whereas they are linking by the phosphodiester linkage. Okay, so I have told you students, from here to the here, that is 5 prime end to 3 prime end, they are the one strand of the DNA. It is the one strand of the DNA. Simultaneously, here one more strand of DNA will come. Opposite strand will come. Okay, so that opposite strand I will draw now. It is the chemical structure of the DNA. First we will see the chemical structure of the DNA. Then we'll go for the discovery of the DNA, the structure, how it is discovered, and exact how it will be looking. That we are going to see in the after drawing this diagram. Okay. Well students, this is the chemical structure of the DNA. Okay, so I have drawn the polynucleotide chain. Only one strand of the polynucleotide chain I have drawn in the first concept. Now I have drawn the double stranded DNA. It is a chemical structure which has been proposed by the scientist called as Erwin Chargaff. Okay, Erwin Chargaff is the scientist who has proposed the chemical structure of the DNA, that is double stranded. It is the first strand, it is the second strand. It is the double stranded DNA, two stranded DNA. Understood? Apart from the Erwin Chargaff scientist, another scientist called as, I'll write here only I'll write here, another scientist called as James Watson. Another scientist called as James Watson and Francis Crick. and Francis Crick has proposed the double-stranded DNA. So this is called as, this complete structure is called as double-stranded DNA. Okay, the complete structure is called as double-stranded DNA. So this complete structure, this double-stranded DNA structure has been proposed by the scientists called as James Watson and Francis Crick in the X-ray diffraction experiment. What experiment here? X-ray diffraction experiment. Okay, and apart from this, they have joined with the scientist called as Maurice Wilkins. Maurice Wilkins and Maurice Wilkins and Rosalind Franklin. Maurice Wilkins and Rosalind Franklin. Okay, so here the scientists called as Maurice Wilkins and Rosalind Franklin, they were studying the X-ray diffraction. They were doing the X-ray diffraction experiment. At that time, the scientists called as James Watson and Francis Crick has been found out the double-stranded DNA structure. Okay, it is the double-stranded DNA structure. Now, I will tell you how this double-stranded DNA is there. See, 5-hydroxyl group is linked with the phosphate bond. Here, pentose sugar is there, nitrogen basis is there. So, this one nitrogen base, adenine, is comparing, that means adenine is bonding with the thymine. Okay, it is the hydrogen bonds we will say. Okay, these are the hydrogen bonds. Adenine pairs we can say. Okay, adenine pairs with thymine by 2 weak hydrogen bonds. 2 weak hydrogen bonds. Adenine pairs with thymine by 2 weak hydrogen bonds, and here you can see cytosine pairs with guanine by 3 weak hydrogen bonds. Cytosine pairs with guanine by 3 weak hydrogen bonds. Always this base pairing is constant, and it has been proposed by the scientist called as once again Erwin Chargaff. Okay, always this pairing is constant, and it has been proposed by the scientist called as Erwin Chargaff. Okay, so this is the chemical structure of the DNA which has been proposed by the scientist for the first time by the Erwin Chargaff. So that is why, so this base pairing is constant. Always adenine pairs with thymine, adenine pairs with thymine, cytosine pairs with guanine by 3 weak hydrogen bonds and by 2 weak hydrogen bonds. It is constant. So that is why we will say this rule as Chargaff's rule. What do we say? This rule as Chargaff's rule. Okay. So once again I'll repeat, students, please listen carefully and constantly. It is the chemical structure of the DNA. Okay. So the DNA is having the 2 strands, or we can say double-stranded DNA. The DNA is having the 2 strands or double-stranded DNA. So what the double-stranded DNA is consisting? See here, phosphate group is there, pentose sugar is there, nitrogen base is there. Always adenine pairs with thymine by 2 weak hydrogen bond, and cytosine pairs with guanine by 3 weak hydrogen bond. Okay, this point you have to remember. And this chemical structure for the first time, it has been proposed by the scientist called as Erwin Chargaff in the experiment called as X-ray diffraction. Apart from the Erwin Chargaff, apart from the Erwin Chargaff, we will also see that the Morris Wilkins and Rosalind Franklin also has given the contribution in identifying the chemical structure of the DNA, and also the scientists called as James Watson and Francis Crick. They have experimentally proved that DNA is a double-stranded helix model. Experimentally, they have proved that DNA is a double helix stranded model, we can say. Okay, so this is the chemical structure. Now I will draw the complete thread-like structure DNA. Okay, here you have seen the chemical analytics. Okay, now I'll draw the thread-like structure DNA. Okay. Well, this is the structure of the DNA, the thread-like double helix model, we will say. So this structure has been given by the scientist called as James Watson and F.H.C. Crick. Okay, James Watson and Francis Crick has been given this model. Okay, so that is why it is also called as Watson and Crick model. Okay, so it is also called as what? Watson and the Crick model. It is the double-stranded helix. Okay, it has been discovered by the scientists called as James Watson and Francis Crick. That is why we will call this model as the Watson and the Crick model. Second point is it is a double-stranded, or we can say double helix model, double stranded or double helix model, which is having opposite polarity. That means opposite molecules here. You can see which is having opposite polarity. Opposite polarity. Okay, so what is this meaning of opposite polarities? That is one strand is running from 3' end to 5' end. So one strand you can see it is running from 3' end to 5' end. Second strand, another strand is running from 5' end to 3' end. Another strand you can see it is running from 5' end to 3' end. Understood? So it is the Watson and Crick model. It is also called as double-stranded helix model, or which is having opposite polarity, and one strand is running from 3' end to 5' end. Other strand is running from 5' end to 3' end. Then next point what you have to remember is the backbone of the DNA. Okay, backbone of DNA is made up of sugar phosphate. Backbone is made up of sugar phosphate. Okay, the backbone of the DNA is made up of sugar and the phosphate. See here, this is the sugar, pentose sugar and the phosphate molecule what I have shown you in the chemical structure. That is the backbone, main backbone of the DNA. Okay, so the backbone of the DNA is made up of sugar phosphate molecule. Okay, the backbone of the DNA is made up of what? Sugar phosphate molecule. Okay, so DNA is a double helix model which has been proposed by the scientist called as James Watson and the Francis Crick. That is why we will also call it as a Watson and the Crick model. And here we are going to see that it is a double-stranded helix or double-stranded molecule which is having opposite polarities, opposite prime ends. One strand is running from 3' end to 5' end. Other strand is running from 5' end to 3' end. Okay. Then next here is we can see that the next point is I have told you that backbone of the DNA is made up of sugar phosphate molecule. Okay. The backbone of the DNA is made up of sugar phosphate molecule. Next point is we are going to see that the one complete rotation. Okay, one complete rotation of the DNA is measuring of about 34 angstrom. 34 angstrom. So it is also called as gyrus DNA. It is also called as what? gyrus DNA. It is also called as gyrus DNA. So one complete rotation. Okay, you can see like this. Okay, so one complete rotation of the DNA is measuring of about 34 angstrom, which is also called as gyrus DNA. What do we call for that? It is a gyrus DNA. Then next is the diameter of the DNA is measuring of about 20 angstrom. Diameter of the DNA is measuring of about 20 angstrom. Okay, diameter is measuring of about 20 angstrom. Then here we are going to see the presence of two grooves. How many grooves are present? Two grooves. One is called as minor groove, which is measuring of about 12 angstrom. Okay, one is called as minor groove, which is measuring of about 12 angstrom, and a major groove. Okay, so 12 angstrom, or we can say 1.2 mm. Okay, then major groove, it is measuring of about 2.2 mm, or we can say it is 36 angstrom. Okay, or we can say it is 36 angstrom. So minor groove is measuring of about 12 angstrom or 1.2 mm. Major groove is measuring of about 36 angstrom or 2.2 mm. Then we are going to see that one loop of the DNA. What we are going to see? One loop of DNA is consisting of 10 nitrogen base pairs. Okay, one loop means this one. This is the one loop. So I have written very few here, but here we are going to write 10 nitrogen base pairs. One loop of the DNA is measuring of about the 10 nitrogen base pairs. Students, I am sorry, here you have to write 22 angstrom. Okay, here you have to write 22 angstrom, or you have to write 22 mm. Okay, so one loop of the DNA is measuring of about 10 nitrogen base pairs. So loop means this one. Okay, one loop. Okay, so it is measuring of about 10. It is consisting of 10 nitrogen base pairs. See, once again I'll just explain this one. One complete rotation is measuring of about 34 angstrom. Then it is also called as gyrus DNA. Okay, it is also called as what? Gyrus DNA. The diameter is measuring of about 20 angstrom. Okay, what the diameter of the DNA is? 20 angstrom. Two grooves are present. One is called as minor groove, which is measuring of about 12 angstrom or 1.2 mm we can say. Other one is called as major groove, which is measuring of about 22 angstrom or 2.2 mm. Then one loop of the DNA is consisting of 10 nitrogen base pairs. Okay, how many it is? 10 nitrogen base pairs. Next is, we can say that the always adenine pairs with guanine by 2 weak hydrogen bonds. Always adenine pairs with thymine by 2 weak hydrogen bonds. And always cytosine pairs with guanine by 3 weak hydrogen bonds. Cytosine pairs with guanine by 3 weak hydrogen bonds. Okay, cytosine pairs with guanine by 3 weak hydrogen bonds. Always adenine pairs with thymine by 2 weak hydrogen bonds, and cytosine pairs with adenine pairs with thymine by 2 weak hydrogen bonds. Cytosine pairs with guanine by 3 weak hydrogen bonds. And the ratio of adenine thymine to the cytosine and guanine is equal to 1 or unity, which is called as Chargaff's base equivalence rule. Which is called as what? Chargaff's base equivalence rule. Which is called as Chargaff's base equivalence rule. Okay, so this is very important point here. The ratio of adenine thymine to the cytosine and guanine is equal to 1 or unity, which is called as Chargaff space equivalence rule. Okay, so this is the structure of the DNA. Okay, this is the structure of the DNA. So DNA is a double helix model. Okay, DNA is a double helix model which has been proposed by the scientist called as James Watson and the Francis Crick. So it is also called as Watson and the Crick model. And here the double-stranded DNA is consisting of 2' ends in the opposite side. One is the 3' end to 5' end. One strand is running from 3' end to 5' end. Other strand is running from 5' end to 3' end. Okay. Then the diameter of the DNA is measuring of about 20 angstrom. One complete rotation is measuring of about 34 angstrom. Then it is also called as gyrus DNA. Here we are going to see two grooves. One is called as minor groove and the other one is called as major groove. Minor groove is measuring of about 12 angstrom and major groove is measuring of about 22 angstrom. And here in one loop of the DNA, we are going to see the presence of 10 nitrogen base pairs. And you have to remember the important point that always adenine pairs with thymine by 2 weak hydrogen bonds and cytosine pairs with guanine by the 3 weak hydrogen bonds. So the ratio of adenine thymine to the cytosine guanine is equal to 1 or unity, which is called as Chargaff space equivalence rule. So this is the important point what you have to remember, and it is very important for 5 marks. Okay, it is very important for 5 marks with the diagram and the explanation. So write down the today's assignment with a neat labeled diagram. Write down the today's assignment. Write down with a neat labeled diagram. Explain the structure of the DNA. Explain the double helix model of DNA. Explain the double helix model of DNA for 5 marks. It is for 5 marks. Okay. So in the next class, we'll see the types of the DNA and also we are going to see the next concept of molecular biology.